GSUP.
Podcast.
It's time to turn this shit up to another level. Popping big shit cause we big steppers. We running this shit up, man. Elevating and taking over the game. All pressure. We on another level with this shit. Greatness. Strength. Unity. And power.
Let's go. Fuck the games y'all play. Guess we doing it our way. We ain't thinking about the bullshit. The Lord got our backs, okay? Telling lies, no way. Get lost, Jose. Special topics, never hard shit. Pass the ball my way. Just a pizza, I ain't living. Fresh down to the linen. What's my opinion? It's my opinion. Big bags we spinning. Keep it real, no gimmicks. If you hear about us, come see about us. Run it up, turn it up, better listen.
Solidified on this side, we the mob, bitch, fuck the other side. Ran the numbers up in no time. All gas, bitch, we coastin'. No competition, we floatin'. Catch me in the paint and I'm postin'. Throw the alley up and I'm dunkin'. GSUP keep stuntin'. Ran up the bag, then we ran up the views. Running the streets, we refusing to lose. Number one power, we be breaking the rules. Keeping it true while we dropping them juice. They hitting and faking, we keep making moves. The hardest of artists, this beat me the hardest. I might be the hardest of all of them artists. Don't get me started, I might go retarded. Dearly departed, I say RIP. Remember them nights we was running them streets. Look at us now, we be charging the fee. We got in our bag and got plenty to eat. Salute a real nigga when you in my presence. Dropping this pressure be giving me leverage. Got it on lock when we steady, big step, and you know what I'm reppin'.
GSUP.
Podcast.
GSUP, we're not just a brand, we're a family. Greatness, strength, unity, and power.
Ow.
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
What's going on?
How y'all doing? So look, y'all see, it's something different today. There ain't no music going on today. We're here to talk about some real life things, things that's missing in the black community. Pretty much what's not talked about amongst black people. And before I start, I want to say thank you, cuz, for reaching out to me. That mean a lot. That shows me that what we doing with this platform is not falling on deaf ears, because it shocked me when you said that you watched it and you know you're familiar with this. That really shocked me. So thank you for that.
Hey, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So first and foremost, everybody introduce yourself. Tell the people who we got sitting with us today. We can start wherever we want to start.
I'm Cornelius. My name is Duke.
I'm Ayana.
I'm Mel.
And I'm Samantha.
Okay, so y'all here today, and what did we come here today to talk about? Tell the people what we came to talk about today.
Well, we came to try to inform people about life insurance.
Oh yeah.
Like you said in the beginning, it's something that's not really talked about in black homes.
Right.
So we just want to inform people, because I think people got a concept that life insurance is too high.
Right.
Or I don't need it right now, I'll get to later.
Right.
So we just want to put some information out there, and hopefully, you know, somebody pick up on it and say, hey, I'm trying to put it down. And
Right.
That's
okay. So all y'all do it as a group? Is it how did y'all get into selling life insurance?
Well, these right here,
Okay.
I found our partner.
Okay.
That's T2G Financial.
Okay.
Matter of fact, they was
Say that again.
T2G Financial.
Okay.
Matter of fact, right now they are vice presidents.
Okay.
Of what they do.
Okay.
So very informed, they're great at what they do. That's how we came about into the business.
Okay.
They came to us, talked to us, and we was like, you know what? That's great, because we weren't talked about or talked to about, you know, life insurance in our home. So we got with them, and we seen what's going on and how you can help people, and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So we was like, hey, we on board. So
Gotcha.
we're doing that for a couple of years.
Gotcha. Because I remember, you know, as being maybe a teenager, like 18, 19, 20, 21, I knew my mom and my grandma had life insurance on me. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. But then I knew when as I got older, I started having kids. I was like, something ain't right. I'm missing something. And that's how I got into learning about life insurance and figuring out what it was. So for people who don't understand what life insurance is, because anybody want to break it down exactly what it means to them? Because you got some people out there that don't even know what life insurance is.
Right. So one of the biggest misconceptions, I'm glad you asked that question, because life insurance is not just death insurance, right? It truly is life insurance, meaning if something were to happen to you, you want to make sure that whatever income was coming in that your family may have been dependent on, that still continues to come into the household. So it truly is income protection is what life insurance is. So if you have anyone that's dependent on your income, anyone that you wouldn't want left in a bind, you know, if something were to happen to you, and unforeseen occurrences befall us all.
Gotcha.
And just like Mel said, you know, life insurance is one of the least talked about things. It's the thing that nobody wants to talk about, but it's the very first thing that everybody checks for when somebody passes away.
Because you know, a pet peeve of mine that I had with I see on social media sometimes. Well, this one I had Facebook. It be these guys out here. They be the hardest gangsters, the biggest thugs, got all the money, flashing all the money. Something happened to them. Their family got to go fund me up.
Right.
That blows my mind. I'm like, you got all this money, but you ain't got no protection on yourself.
Right. Right.
So, I want to know something that I didn't understand about life insurance. What's the difference between is it short term and long term? What is the difference in it?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So it's whole life or cash value, should I say? It's cash value and term, right? So in the industry, it's a whole bunch of different names, right? You'll hear universal life, flexible premium, adjustable life, term, all that stuff. But the reality is, it's over 800 life insurance companies, but it's only two types: cash value and term.
Gotcha.
To put it in a nutshell, cash value is where you're paying for two benefits, right? You got your death benefit if something were to happen to you, then you got your living benefit, which is the cash value.
Okay.
So the way that it is said to work is that part of your premium, let's say you're paying $100 a month. Let's say 50 of it going to your insurance, 50 going into your savings. What a lot of people don't realize, that sounds like a good idea at first, right? Okay, I got coverage, I got a savings if something happens. But if something does come up and the family needs to use any of that cash, they have to borrow it, right? So because somebody said I had to take a loan out on my policy.
I've heard that before. I might have heard somebody, like an older person, may say, well, I had to cash in the policy. So if you cash in a policy, does that just make it null and void after that?
Yes, that's considered a cash value surrender. Meaning you surrender your policy and then you get your cash value. But usually it's not equivalent to what you paid into the policy. It's just a portion, an undefined portion. Nobody ever really knows the amount. Right? You just call your company and see what your balance is.
Gotcha. So how do you go about? Because I know this different companies. Some of them want you to do drug tests, and some of them want you to do, want to check your blood pressure. Because I had to do all that when I got my policy and put it on my wife and kids and all that. I had to do the drug test, check my cholesterol and all that stuff. There's also ones that you don't have to do that for.
Right.
So what's the difference in those types of insurance? Is there a difference in it?
Yeah, it's a difference. Most of the time, it's a benefit of pricing. So when you do your physical, you allow underwriting to take a closer look. So you'll get your cost per thousand is usually less, unless your results come back a little different. Your price may go up. But then on the other end, when you don't have to do, the pyramid or the physical, that's more of your streamline. They're just doing an electronic checking some stuff, on the back end, your medical, your prescription drug history, driving record, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So look, man. Y'all heard this right here. If you don't got life insurance, you need to go get some life insurance. It's very important. You don't want to kick the bucket and have your family out here struggling and trying to find out how to bury you. It ain't that much. Yeah. I pay like $35 a month for that. So it's not that much. So another thing that I wanted to know, if you have, because I have a family member that I know we was trying to get insurance for him, but he had a pre-existing condition. Because and maybe somebody out there that's watching this, they may want to know this. If you have a pre-existing condition, how hard is it to get insurance? Can you get insurance with a pre-existing condition?
It depends on the nature of the pre-existing condition. Typically, I tell people just about anybody can get coverage. Now, depending on affordability, whether you can afford it or not, depending on what your condition is. sometimes, I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people that have pre-existing conditions, and sometimes they eliminate themselves, they decline themselves, they don't even try, right? So reach out to a licensed professional, reach out to Samantha and Mel, and find out if you can get approved for coverage. And a lot of times, even if we can't get you initially approved, there's a reconsideration process and everything. So I encourage everybody to take that first step, you know, and then go from there.
Okay. And those policies, like you see those ones on like TV, like what you call it, like Liberty Mutual,
Girl Life, and
stuff like that. Like those type of I ain't knocking you. It's just a question. It's just a question because I heard that like if you get those policies, then they don't cover you till like after a certain amount of years. Like is that true or?
Yeah, so I won't say specifically for those companies because depending on what type of policy they get, because some companies have quite a few types of policies. But in general, there are a lot of policies out here that have a 2-year waiting period or 2-year return of premium. So what happens is a person gets the policy, they think they're fully covered, they're all good, they're paying premium, something happens, they go to file a claim, and they're like, nope, your coverage really haven't even started yet. So that's what happens then. The family may just get a return of premium of the premium payments that they made. So, yeah.
So, I asked y'all to, do y'all feel like there's a proper amount of insurance that you're supposed to have? Like, should it just be enough just to bury your loved one, or should it be enough, you know, to cover expenses for a certain period of time? Because I know when my grandma passed maybe about 8 years ago, she had just enough just to bury her. And do y'all feel like is there a proper amount of coverage that you should have?
Well, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think you should have enough, like she stated earlier, to make sure that the void that's now missing in the home is some way covered, you know, because if not, then that's just more headache added. Right. So just enough to bury you, may take care of that part. Right. But while you've been buried and I've had the time off, the bills and stuff are still coming in. Absolutely. So now I got to try to pick up, you know what I'm saying, I'm in a hole. Right. So my opinion would be have more than enough to bury you. You know, have enough to maybe cover some bills for a month or two until people can get back on their feet. Gotcha. You know?
Gotcha. And, and another thing, people they scared of this conversation. People are scared of this conversation because I remember, you know, my grandma, she used to say stuff like, "Well, if something happened to me, well, I want to be cremated and stuff like that." And we didn't want to talk about that, but it's real life, like it's reality. Like anything can happen, like you never know. Yeah. So, do y'all have any familiarities with? I'm just trying to use big words.
You're doing good.
Like living wills and testaments. Like, do you have to honor those by law?
So if they are notarized, right, then it is a formal legal document, right? So sometimes people think, well, if I just write it up and stick it somewhere, you know, if it's not notarized, nobody knows that person really signed that or not. But yeah, we do actually offer living wills, things like that, document review, all of that type of stuff, power of attorney. Yeah. Okay,
because I got a funny story. We probably had just got our insurance. This was probably maybe about 5 years ago when we had got our insurance and everything. Me and my wife went to Bahamas, and we just having a good time. And I said, "Hey, let's get on the jet skis." So we get on the jet ski. She's scared the whole time. You know, she's scared. Well, we get on there, and you know, when you're on the jet, if you ever rode a jet ski before, you know the water it makes it rock. So she was scared anyway. But we get on the jet ski, and before we can get all the way out there, the jet ski rocks. I'm going this way, she going the other way. Whole jet ski flip over in the ocean in Bahamas.
Oh, wow.
All I heard was Jaws. I'm coming up looking for her, so I'm trying to get to her. Yeah. She out the water. And I'm looking at her like, what about me? Like, and I'm like, you did it on purpose. You want to catch that policy on you. So for situations like that, for people who do death-defying things like that, because I want to go skydiving, like I like little stuff like that. how important is accident insurance? Like, can you break what is accident insurance? Like, would that be considered accident insurance?
So really, that's actually covered under your life insurance plan. And you do have people who get other supplemental plans like your accidental, but the accidental plans are very clausy, right? They're accidental death and dismemberment, but it's a whole. When you read those plans, if something were to happen to you, your death truly has to be deemed an accident. Like the medical examiner, let's say, like you said, you flipped in the water, you heard Jaws, right? Let's say you panicked and had a heart attack. Well, Jaws ain't never done. He's okay. But if that medical examiner puts cause of death heart attack and not accident, then that accidental policy is null and void. Yeah, so I would just say that, going back to what Mel was saying, having more than enough. Have enough coverage. That way, who's ever depend on your income, regardless of your cause of death, you're not stuck trying to fit into a box to make sure that your policy is paid out.
Gotcha. So she would have lived a good life, though. She would have lived a good life. but this is good information, man. This is good information that a lot of y'all need to know, man. A lot of y'all need to know that. So other than that, what else do y'all have going on that you may want to shout out or talk about?
First of all, I would like for y'all to break down the two policies, the cash life, and then in your opinion, which one is better and why?
Okay, yeah, we can do that. So as I was mentioning earlier with the cash value, right, that's where you got those two benefits. So we went over that, and I think we stopped about where you have to borrow the money, right, if you have to borrow the money. So taking out that loan, a lot of people don't know, let's say if you have $100,000 whole life policy, and let's say you got $10,000 in your cash value, emergency come up, need to fix something at the house, let's say you pull $2,000 from your cash value. So you're taking that loan. Not only did that $10,000 turn into $8,000, but that $100,000 worth of coverage you have just turned into $98,000. Right? That $2,000 kind of comes from both places, even though you're only pulling one withdrawal. And then what happens is it's an interest-bearing loan. So that $2,000 grows and grows and grows each month until you pay that loan balance back. If you don't pay it back, the balance that you owe plus interest comes off of the death benefit, right? So your family gets even less. And then some people may say, okay, but that's cool. They just taking what they owe or what I owe. But on top of that, that $8,000 that you had left, the company keeps that too.
Gotcha.
So the cash value that you saved up for all those years, you're really saving for the company, not for yourself.
Gotcha.
That's why when he was asking earlier about the surrender, like if you turn in your policy, that's the only way that you can get your cash value. On the flip side of that, with term, right, you're paying for pure protection, right? Now, level term, that is, right? I recommend a level term. So on level term, you're paying for pure protection, full death benefit. If you got $100,000 in coverage, whatever happens, hell or high water, as long as you ain't committed no insurance fraud in the first 2 years, then that full benefit pays out. There's no ifs, ands, buts, no clauses, nothing you got to refer to and check, anything like that. Now, we do encourage you to save alongside your life insurance, right? You should buy term and invest the difference. You should be investing. You should have mutual funds, emergency accounts, be investing in 401k, IRAs, or whatever. But put your money somewhere it's designed to be saved and grow interest and actually work for you instead of for another company. That way, if you do want to pull anything from that, it does not impact your life insurance.
So say, for instance, like, your loved one passed, but you have no idea if they had insurance or where they keep the documents at. What route do you go?
In that case, there is an online reference, and I have to pull up the name of, but it's a fee to it for you to do a policy search. One thing that's very, very, very important for people who already have existing plans, let your beneficiary know, right? If you think that they're going to kill you because you're telling me you're a new beneficiary, okay? But your beneficiary needs to know. Your beneficiary needs to know what company you have your coverage with and just how to get in contact. They don't need to know your death benefit and all that stuff, but they need to know that. And we do, at T2G, we do beneficiary contacts. So once you get a policy with us, we're reaching out to the beneficiary to give them a certificate so they know who to call. But it's a very tedious process when you don't know how to go about it.
Yeah, because that was like one of the, because this is something like me and my wife talk about sometimes, like if something happened to us, like how we never knew that information you just gave. So that's why I wanted to know that right there. And I appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
good.
I'm saying something. Since there's a lot of claims that go unpaid just because people didn't know they were the beneficiary or someone had insurance on them.
So a person may not know that they. So you're saying the person they didn't know that they loved one had it. So the money's just sitting there.
Yep.
Yes.
It's money sitting in estate accounts right now because beneficiaries have been, and life insurance companies are not doing searches every once in a while to see who passed away.
Anyway, if y'all do look it up, whatever you said is a website, right?
Yes.
Anybody out there that wanted to know that, y'all look it up, man. Do your research. You might have some money sitting out there we know.
Yes.
And anybody that had family members that passed away, they think they may have had insurance, I would check.
Right. Especially with COVID last year, it was real rough on a lot of people. So it may be somebody who's sitting around who's still, trying to get back from burning a loved one last year. Because like I said, we all lost a lot of people last year.
Yeah.
And it's another reason why, man, this is important to just, put some protection on yourself, put some protection on your family. It's necessary and it's not talked about enough. And that's what this platform is for. To bring in, we ain't just about music, man. It's not all about music. It's about real life over here. Talking to everybody, learning, trying to educate ourselves on things. Yeah. That's what this is about right here. That's what this is about.
Yes.
So when you were telling me earlier that you had something going on that you wanted to talk about.
So my wife said we got something going on she wanted to put up there.
Well, before we go into that, I just want to say, just to add piggyback on both of Yana and Mel, that T2G Financial Services is just not geared to life insurance, but we're a one financial shop, for all your financial needs.
Okay, like 401k?
Yes, IRAs,
rollovers.
We can do some 401k talk right quick then. Let's get into some 401k talk. Because I got a tendency of cashing mine out. I always cash mine out. I do the whole lot. So let's get into some 401k talk then. Hey. So what is the importance of having a 401k?
So the importance of having a 401k, so any retirement account, so this is not 401k specific. So, because 401k just means it's with a corporation, right? Your traditional Roth IRA, that means you got your own individual retirement account, right? 403b is through schools, different stuff like that. So if you have any retirement account, you shouldn't pull it, especially if you're under 59 and a half, right? Because you get taxed and penalized, okay? So if you have a 401k, a lot of people have money left behind on other jobs, they don't know what to do with it. Roll it over. Get in contact with the licensed financial specialist and they can roll that money over for you, right? They can roll that money over for you so that you avoid those taxes and penalties, right? And then they can educate you on setting up other accounts that are designed to pull it up, right? Your emergency funds, your mutual funds, stuff like that. If you want to do individual stock investments, but for 401k plans, IRAs, a lot of people don't know the difference between a traditional and a Roth, how you can get, tax benefits of going into a Roth and stuff like that.
Money talk.
Yeah, it's the boring stuff nobody want to talk about, but it's the stuff that make you the most money.
Absolutely. Oh, that's dope, man. That's real dope there. That's real dope.
Man, you hit that on the head.
Yeah.
You hit that on the head.
In a lot of jobs, they offer the 401k. Most people don't inquire about it, don't ask about it, and most jobs match.
Right.
That is free money. Right. I repeat, that is free money.
Free money.
I talking to the mic. That is free money.
So it's like, because I know
as long as you are invested.
Right.
Yeah.
So I usually do like 5%. Is there a certain level of percentages you can go when you do it? Is it a cap on your percentage?
Usually your employer will tell you what their cap at the match, what they'll match. So I usually encourage people to try to at least build, even if you can't start off contributing to that match, try to build up to, what they match. And know those qualifications though, like he said, would be invested. Know how many years you gotta be with that job to be vested to get that free
So when you pull that money, you say you gotta pay taxes on it, right?
Yes. Look, as they call it the IRS gonna let you know. You got it in the mail, it's just in the pile. It's in the junk mail.
I promise you.
Yes.
Oh man, well that's good information, man. That's real good information, man. Look, anything else y'all want to cover? Anything that because like I said, I I'm not a professional at this. I don't claim to be a professional interviewer. I'm somebody who like to talk to people and just get information. And if it's something that I may have missed that y'all want to, speak on, or did I,
I would just say, just like Samantha was saying, we are a one-stop financial supermarket with home delivery, and that's what we look for. Just people who want to have a conversation, right? Don't feel like you got to be all buttoned up and all serious, right? Even though we're talking about serious stuff, be comfortable with reaching out to somebody, because it truly is just a conversation. Right. Get your questions answered, right? Get your questions answered. Get your family protected. It doesn't have to be expensive. Like you said, $35 a month is an awesome plan. A lot of times you can get a whole lot of coverage. People don't even know how much coverage you can get.
You can get a lot of coverage.
Yeah, a lot of coverage for that monthly premium. So be comfortable having that conversation. Like Samantha said, outside of life insurance, we deal with savings, investments, like we said, legal wills, even smart home security systems, right? We protect all areas of protect your home, your business, right? Yeah. So let's go.
And I just want to say something about, I don't know, for lack of a better word, I call it the myth of, I'll wait till I get older before I get insurance. The fact that you wait till you get older means the insurance going to be higher.
Right.
Yes.
You want to get it now while you're younger, so you're ahead as you get older. So don't wait till you get, 45, 50 years old, then you go get mad because your insurance now $50,
right?
And somebody already got it for $25. It's because of your age,
right?
So now is the time to get insurance while you're young,
Yes.
right? So I just wanted to put that out there.
And I'm glad you said that, because like my dad he's 50 some years old, and for a long period of time he didn't have insurance. And after when my grandma died, I was like, I gotta figure something out. Like, it actually opened my eyes up to reality of what was really happening in life. Like when she died, I felt like that responsibility fell into my lap, and I'm glad I did it when I did it, because I got it at a decent price. So if y'all got family members out there that don't have insurance, man, I'm telling you, y'all better look it up, get all the information you need, and if you don't feel like reading it, you want somebody to break it down to you, watch this podcast, or y'all can hit them up with shout out to y'all Instagram, their Facebook page.
Yes. They can reach us on different avenues. Instagram, we have Facebook, Mel Procise, Samantha Procise.
PROSIS.
Everybody know how to spell that name. Y'all the biggest name in the world.
We going with Samantha and Mel Procise. Y'all get us Samantha and Mel Procise on Facebook, and that's y'all names on Instagram too.
On Instagram, Procise Wife on Instagram, and or either you can definitely inbox us through Messenger as well.
Okay. So look, man, I'm glad I came.
Getting up no phone number, because
Nah, you got Just deal. Let's get him a deal.
Go down in the deal.
Nothing crazy though. Nothing crazy.
Man, look. I'm glad y'all came back. I'm glad you reached out to me. Like, I appreciate this. This was an amazing conversation right here. Like, amazing conversation. I really appreciate this.
Yes.
And just talking to our people and letting them know, the things that they may not have known. So,
yes.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
If anything else y'all want to get into?
Look out for loudbaby93.com. It's coming at you very soon.
Say that again.
Loudbaby93.com.
And what's that?
It's just a retail store.
Okay.
You got great merchandise, better price.
Okay. What you selling?
Man, we got baby clothes, dog clothes, apparel.
I got baby clothes. Yeah, I might give you some baby clothes.
Yeah, we got.
This is coming real soon.
Loud 93.
93 under construction right now.
Okay, got How y'all started it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What made you want to get into the clothes?
Mess with my oldest son.
Okay.
We went back and forth with it, and then got together, came with the concept. So it was like, hey, let's run with it.
Gotcha.
Did some research, and hey man, it's really popular. If you do your research, you know what I'm saying.
So if anybody want to get in there right now, what can they find it? Like, what can they You got any way they can just reach out to you if they want to get any merch right now?
Well, you can reach out to me, like I said, on the construction. I can still get you some merch.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing. Inbox us, Samantha Man Pro Sites. Okay, it's inbox us. PRO.
Yeah.
Or you can reach out to Loud Baby 93. You can also reach out to D Briggs.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Gotcha, man. Well, look, I thank y'all again. I appreciate this. This was amazing. This was love. It's GSUP the podcast, and we out.
T2G. GSUP.